Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel / podcast, depending on where you're watching or listening to this video right now. I'm so excited for today's episode / video. It is all around the fear of judgment. And I don't know about you, but this is something that used to hold me back so much. And it's something that, if I'm quite honest, still can hold me back because it is just such a real fear. And so when we can bring awareness to why we're afraid of other people's judgment and really consider why we're letting that hold us back, because sometimes we're not even consciously aware that we're allowing other people's judgments to hold us back. So once we can bring awareness to that, we can clear it, we can clear the fear, and we can move on with what we actually want to do. And it is so important that we don't allow other people's thoughts, opinions, judgments hold us back from doing what we want to do, and that we aren't projecting either. We aren't projecting on someone else what they may think about what we're doing. So we're gonna dive deeper into that. But if you are new here, welcome. My name is K-Sky. I'm a life and mindset coach, and I'm here to help you step into your potential and live a life that ultimately fills you up from the inside out, and that is unique to you. I am so passionate about what I do, and I'm so happy to be here. Oh my gosh. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, if you want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video. And if you are listening to this on my podcast, I would love for you to subscribe to my podcast and rate and review the show. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the fear of judgment and how to no longer let it hold you back. So let's just touch really quickly on why this fear is so ingrained in pretty much everyone. I mean, if we're all honest, we have all felt the fear of what someone else might perceive us as or think about us in one way or another. We felt that in our life. And so what I want you to consider is that humans are really designed and meant to be around other humans. We thrive in community. We really, really do. We thrive when we have other beautiful humans around us. And so it's only normal not to want to isolate yourself from other people, right? So let's just say back in the old days, the olden days, when we were in tribes and we really had to count on one another to go out and hunt and gather, and some people would stay back and watch over the children and cook and clean, and we were very much this tribe, right? And so if one person almost made themselves vulnerable in a way of being isolated from that tribe, there was probably a 0% chance of survival, right? Because we really counted on one another for that day-to-day survival. And today it is similar in the sense of of course we need other people to survive, right? Because if we didn't have grocery stores, that means we need to go out and hunt for our food. If we didn't have just the certain luxuries of the present time, we wouldn't survive. But let's just pretend for a second that we're just talking about friends, family, and acquaintances. It's still very, very scary to almost stand out in a way where you feel like you could be isolating yourself, or you feel like you could be taking on judgment. Not only is it ingrained, a deeply, deeply ingrained feeling and fear from our past, from our ancestors, but it's also just in day-to-day times. Who wants to be isolated? Who wants to feel other people's judgment? But the thing is that when we're constantly afraid of what other people are thinking, feeling, or perceiving about us, we're really stopping ourselves from stepping into our power, our light, our magic. And when we halt that authentic version of ourselves, we no longer attract the type of person that would naturally be magnetized to our own unique energy. And so you can kind of build this box around yourself that feels almost fake or empty because you're not allowing yourself to really be true to you. And I find that this might be a little controversial, but the people who are most judgmental of others are also extremely judgmental of themselves. and they don't allow themselves to step out of the box that maybe they're judging other people for. So hopefully that makes sense, but like they're judging someone else for stepping out of the box, when in reality, they're doing that because they're not allowing themselves to step out of the box. And there's been so many times in my life where I have quite literally felt so intensely like this fear come over my body of like, oh, I don't want to say this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to put myself out there because I am so terrified of what I may be perceived as, and I'm so terrified like of being judged. And then deeper than that, on a subconscious level, I'm probably thinking like, could I lose all my friends? Will people look at me differently? Will I not live up to some certain expectation? And so when I'm thinking those things, and when my focus is on what other people may perceive me as or think of me as, it really stops me from taking action that is in alignment with my true self, with my higher self. And so that is just like a block I have really had to work on. And I made a few notes of some specific examples that have happened, not recently, but in the past few years, around like things I was feeling really scared to do because of the way it might be perceived. I'm so out of breath right now. I don't know what is going on. I'm just gonna take a sip of coffee actually. You know, if I'm being honest, like this is just coming up. Oh, sorry, that's probably annoying on the audio. But if I'm being honest, like what's coming up for me right now in this moment is a little bit of that fear, like the fear of judgment, which is so interesting. And I don't know why. I really don't know why, but it is coming up for me. And maybe it's because I'm on camera and because this is kind of a touchy subject. So that's really interesting. And obviously, like, it's a very uncomfortable feeling. And it does sometimes just come out of nowhere. Like right now, it's just like coming up for me. Okay. So like, obviously I know I'm safe right now. And like, I am confident in myself and my message, but it still is coming up and I'm like feeling slightly anxious. And so I feel like normally I wouldn't even share this and I would maybe pause the video and regather myself, but I think it's very interesting that it's happening on this video, on this podcast. And so I think I'll just keep this part in. But really what I'm doing internally right now is refocusing on my message and affirming to myself, like, you're safe, you're literally in your apartment. Yes, you're on camera. Yes, you're recording a podcast, but you are quite literally safe. And the people who are meant to hear this are going to hear this. And the people who maybe don't like this are just going to click away. And so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to push past this resistance. Maybe it's also because of like sharing my personal experiences with the fear of judgment. That could be bringing up some old feelings and insecurities. Anyways, let's just move through this, because really movement is so important. It will clear out the energy. It will make you feel so much better. So I'm going to keep moving forward. So how I've struggled with the fear of judgment in the past, the very first thing that stood out to me was when I decided to quit my job as a realtor and become a life coach. I was so nervous to share that transition online. And in reality, pretty much no one really cared, right? Like, no one's thinking about me the way they're thinking about themselves, the way that I'm thinking about me. But I was so nervous to record that first video and posting it on my Instagram story, sharing that I was a life coach. I also had never really recorded any sort of talking video face to camera on my Instagram before. And so that was just like very nerve-wracking. Like, the whole fear of judgment, the fear of being seen was really coming out. And then I remember that when I first was sitting at a table at dinner with some friends that I hadn't seen in a while, some new people as well that I'd never met, and they were asking me what I was doing and what my job was, and it was like the first time publicly in an in-person setting that I actually was like, I'm a life coach. And at the time, I didn't even know what a life coach was. I mean, I did because I was doing it, but I had never heard of it before, a life and mindset coach. And so I wasn't really sure how other people were going to react to that, if they were going to take me seriously. But I remember just feeling so anxious before I said it. And it was like so much anxiety that I was just laughing uncontrollably and I couldn't answer the question right away. And I finally answered it. I felt so much better, but I was like, whatever, this is my truth. Like, it's really not that bad, but we let the fear of judgment like build it up, build it up, build it up. The other thing, this is really interesting, but when I tell people what I studied in college or in university, I sometimes feel like that fear of judgment come up. So I have an art degree and I like majored specifically in photography, and that makes me so nervous sometimes to tell people that, because I really feel like maybe that's not enough sometimes. Like, I should have done something harder, although it was actually extremely hard. I just fear that fear of judgment. Another one that I used to feel slightly when I was younger is that when I was young, I made a decision that I did not want to have sexy time. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say on YouTube. So I didn't want to have sexy time until I knew I was in love, and that hopefully it would be the person that I was going to marry. And this was like nothing that I really saw around me, and that didn't matter. It was just like what was on my heart, and I did not care what anyone else was doing. I am so accepting of everyone's decision with their own body in their own way. But for me, that was really important to me. And I remember like even just telling new people for the first time when that discussion would come up, or people I was dating, that I was just nervous to say that. Like, I'm waiting until I know I'm in love. And I'm so proud of myself for staying true to that feeling and staying true to that desire. But I do remember feeling that fear of judgment coming up. And even when I told Luke the first time, like, that I wanted to wait until I was in love, he was so accepting of that. And he was so loving and understanding of that. And I never felt pressure with him. But I do remember feeling fearful saying that to him. And it's just very interesting. These are like things that have been very real in my life. A more lighthearted one is when I was younger. This is gonna sound really weird, but when I was like in high school, I guess, I've always loved wearing like bootylicious bathing suits. I've loved it. I still love it. Like, I love wearing a bootylicious bathing suit. I like my butt being tan. And one time we were in Costa Rica, it was a family trip, and I got like a cheeky bathing suit. It was not like a thong or anything. It was just a little bit of a cheeky bathing suit. And my brother, one of my brothers, and my cousin gave me so much crap. I mean, they like literally attacked me for it. And since then, there's been like this tiny little voice in the back of my head every time I wear like a cheekier bathing suit that is fearful of other people's judgment. Like, what are they going to think about me because I like this type of bathing suit? And it's just so interesting, like these little things that we don't realize have such a big impact on us really do. Now, it's not stopping me from being a life and mindset coach. It did not stop me from protecting like my desire to wait until I was in love, to have sexy time, like truly in love, could see myself marrying this person. It does not stop me from wearing cheeky bathing suits, and I still get lots of opinions on that. And it doesn't stop me from sharing what I studied in school. So all of these things, while that fear of judgment came up, it did not stop me from going forward. And I think something that I really like and admire about myself is that I truly do embody, feel the fear, and do it anyways. If I feel it on my heart, I'm gonna do it. I back myself, I trust myself to push past the fear. Like, even right now, I don't know why, but I'm feeling so anxious to record this video all of a sudden, and I'm pushing past it because I know someone on watching this or listening to this needs to hear this message and needs to see that it's okay to feel scared. It's okay to feel anxious. You can still pursue what you want. And I'm so grateful for the past version of myself who pushes past all these fears of what other people think about her or what she thinks other people think about her, and really just says, no, I'm not gonna let that stop me. And that is why I'm here today. Truly, that is why I'm doing what I love, and I'm here today. And I want the same for you. And let me be proof that like you can push past different fears of judgment in all different categories and still be safe. Like I am still perfectly safe, and I'm so proud of myself for continuing to move forward. And I really want you to ask yourself, like, why is it so scary what other people think about you? Of course, we don't want to be isolated, but at the end of the day, the people who are meant for you are not going to isolate you, right? Like you might get a little bit of crap here and there, you might get teased, but you're strong and you can keep moving forward. And I know that like now, if I have a conversation with one of my brothers about like the cheeky bathing suit and his opinion on that, he would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like I did not mean to make you feel uncomfortable or make you feel judged. And I was little, you know, that was like a long time ago. And so we can have conversations with people who genuinely love us unconditionally and tell them how we're feeling. If someone doesn't or isn't open to hearing that conversation, then I would just consider, why are you allowing them to have so much weight on what you do? If they can't even hear you out and if they don't even love you unconditionally, why are you allowing them to have so much weight in your life and in your decisions? So why are you letting someone who doesn't have the life you want dictate how you feel? That's the first question. If you are allowing people who don't even have the lifestyle you want, who don't even have the dream that you want, dictate how you move and how you take action, what are you doing? They don't even have what you want. So how can they sit there and have such a big sway on what it is you do, because they've never been in your shoes? And I put here, no one that has the things you want is looking down on you. No one. No one who actually has the lifestyle you want is even probably thinking about you, first of all, which I know is harsh, but they are not like judging you. The people who have what you want are not judging you. And judgments are also usually a reflection of that person's insecurity. And I will give you a very real example. So really, I feel as if I'm someone who doesn't make a lot of judgments on people. I never really look at someone and judge them. I really just don't. I really don't. So when I do, it really stands out to me and it triggers the crap out of me. Recently, I sadly did make a judgment and I realized it was my own insecurity. And basically what it was is that there is a gym where I live, and Luke and I are thinking about signing up there because it's a little bit closer to our apartment. Basically, long story short, the girls that go there are extremely beautiful and they wear next to nothing. And I found myself thinking, I don't really want to work out somewhere where the girls dress like that. Why? Why am I saying that? I will tell you why. Because some part of me is insecure. Some part of me is insecure. It has nothing to do with what these beautiful, gorgeous girls are wearing and how they're presenting themselves. Absolutely nothing. I'm worried about how I'm gonna measure up. I'm judging myself for something that doesn't even matter. And let me tell you, it's so interesting because anytime I go to the gym, I am not thinking about anyone but myself. I really am not. But what I will say, if someone comes in the cutest outfit, I'm sometimes thinking, oh my gosh, what do I look like? And I hate that. I don't like that. But what I'm trying to do by being super honest here is share with you that when we are passing judgment, it is almost always a reflection of ourselves. I don't even want to say almost always. It is always a reflection of something that's going on with us. And so that is something that I just thought in my head this past week. And I was like, absolutely not. I this is me. This is not them. This is absolutely me, and I have more work to do here, and I'm going to do that work because I don't want to be someone who thinks those thoughts, because it's not who I am. It's truly not who I am, and it's my own insecurity. Really, at the end of the day, we are the only ones that can judge ourselves. You can think all day, what are they thinking about me? But you honestly will never know unless they tell you. And at the end of the day, we are really just judging ourselves. We need to be our own cheerleaders. So maybe what it is the fear of judgment needs to be the fear of judging yourself. Stop judging yourself. You have got to be in your corner. If anyone needs to be in your corner, it's got to be you. Because no one can make you feel a certain way without your permission. And that is so true. You have to give your permission to make yourself feel a certain way. You have to give someone permission to make you feel a certain way. If someone told me they hated my blue hair, it would not affect me because I'm like, I don't even have blue hair, right? But if someone told me that I'm not smart enough to be a life and mindset coach, that might trigger me if I thought that was true, right? No one can make you feel a certain way without your permission. Okay, and the reason why this entire episode came about and why I wanted to record it is because an email I sent to my newsletter, I think it was last week maybe, and I want to read it to you. It's one of those moments where I'm reflecting on how far I've come in the past 3 years. And let me tell you, it has taken some time to get to this place. There have been lots of challenges, unknowns, and countless times of doubt along the way. And that's the thing about pursuing your dreams. It's kind of like the ocean. Sometimes you are surfing the most beautiful wave and you're feeling on top of the world. And other times you are absolutely eating crap. Today I'm surfing a beautiful, peaceful wave, and I'm choosing to be present here and enjoy this moment. So wherever you are today, whether you are paddling your hardest to catch the biggest wave you ever have, whether you are actually riding the wave, or whether you are absolutely getting pummeled, just know it's temporary, all of it. And the important thing to remember is that you're out here at all. Most people won't even get in the ocean, let alone attempt to surf their big wave. They are too afraid of failing and all the people on the beach seeing it. But the people on the beach aren't even brave enough to try, so don't let them hold you back. Stop keeping yourself small and get back in the water. I'll see you out there. So what this means to me is basically like, stop letting the people who are sitting on the beach judging you hold you back from surfing your wave, because they're not even brave enough to get in the ocean and surf their wave. They're not even brave enough to try. And what does it take to get good at surfing, right? Like, what does it actually take to get good at going after your dreams and really being brave enough to surf your wave? This is what I put: being present. You have to be present in order to catch a wave, ride the wave, and keep yourself in some sort of safety, right? Like, you have to be present. The same thing with going after your dreams. You can't be thinking so far in the past and so far in the future that you're completely out of the present moment. You have to be focused on the here and now and really not allowing yourself to stay in the past. The next thing is being observant. So observing your surroundings. Like, obviously, if you're out in the ocean, you want to make sure that the set that's coming is one that is going to be good for you to actually catch. It's not going to be really massive or too small. It's like the perfect set. And so the same with going after your dreams. Observe your behavior, observe your habits, observe your environment, observe how you are showing up in those areas so that you can really pick the habits, the environment, the thoughts that are going to support you in going after your dreams and catching your big wave. Being brave. You have to be brave to step out of your comfort zone. You have to be brave to surf a big wave. You have to be brave to go after your dreams. It is a requirement. The next thing I put is to consistently, keyword there, consistently, get out and practice. So just like going to the gym one time, you're not going to really see very many results. Just like going out and trying to surf for the first time, one time, you're not going to be a professional surfer. It's the same with your dreams. You have to consistently show up day in and day out and take the action that is required. You can't expect that you're going to be perfect from day one. And you're really going to have to show up consistently for yourself to get to where you want to go. You're gonna have to follow the steps required for you to get there. If you want different, you have to move different, and you have to do it consistently. The next is taking a risk at looking like a beginner. So just like learning how to surf, you are gonna mess up. You're gonna look silly. You're not gonna look very good probably. I mean, maybe there's that rare occasion where someone is just naturally gifted right away, but for the most part, for 99% of us, you are going to look like a beginner, and that's okay. Embrace it. It's wonderful being a beginner. It's how we learn, it's how we grow. So embrace being a beginner, because we all start somewhere. You need to know the basics, AKA how to swim, right? Like, in order to be able to surf, I'm pretty sure you should probably know how to swim first in case, you know, something doesn't go right or you fall off the board. It's the same thing with your dream life. Like, you need to have a strong foundation. If you have a really negative mindset, if you have awful habits, you're probably not going to get to your dream life because you don't have the foundation to stand on to get you there. So making sure you are really learning the basics so that you have a strong foundation. And then the last is hire someone to teach you. Hire a surf instructor. If you want to learn how to surf quicker, easier, and like more efficiently and with support, you know, hire a surf instructor to show you exactly how to do it. You're saving time, and you're honestly saving money, and you're doing it in a safer way in the long run. The same with your life, the same with your dreams, the same with your mindset. Hire someone who's already done it so that you can get there quicker, easier, faster, and more efficiently. All right, guys, that is all for today's video/episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And then if you are listening to this on my podcast, please give it a rating. If you're on Spotify, just scroll up to the top and you can hit the stars. And I believe if you're on Apple Podcasts, scroll down to the bottom and then you can tap the stars there. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in my next episode. Don't let the fear of judgment hold you back anymore. You are so worthy of everything you want. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you in my next video or episode.